Collaboration Podcast.
Hey, this is Josh Pearson.
Performance specialist with The Complete Athlete.
This is Cole Warren.
Certified USAPL club coach and owner of Salutum Health and Performance. Each week, Cole and Josh will take you through training techniques and tips, talk to athletes and fitness professionals to educate and motivate you for your fitness goals. Plus, you'll follow the journeys of Team Salutum Powerlifting and Get Complete athletes. The Coaches Collaboration Podcast is brought to you by The Complete Athlete, providing world-class continuing education for fitness trainers, coaches, and gyms, specializing in Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman, barbell and hip classes, personal programming, specialty clinics, competitions, strength and conditioning. Get Complete. Isn't it time to take your coaching to the next level? Using continuing education with research and evidence-based info and offering specialty services from a team of certified coaches online and on-site. It's time to Get Complete. The Complete Athlete, online at getcomplete.net. And now, the Coaches Collaboration Podcast.
Hey athletes, it's Josh. And today I want to talk to you about two things. The first thing I want to talk about is it's flu season, it's sick season, it's kids are coming home with illnesses, my fiance's even sick. And what I wanted to remind you guys is to try to combat getting sick. Make sure you're eating the right foods, sleeping enough. Sleep is probably the biggest thing. If you lose a night or two of sleep, you're most likely going to get sick. Make sure you guys are getting your spinach, your potassium, your sodiums, your irons, your vitamin C's and zinc and all of that. I usually tell people if you're eating an orange or two a day, you're having some spinach, some broccoli, maybe you're having sweet potatoes at night, carrots, getting that fiber up, and maybe even some Greek yogurt to get those probiotics, you're doing a good job. Plus, if you guys are getting more than 7 hours of sleep, that's huge. If you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep, you might as well not be sleeping at all because you most likely will get sick. You'll get run down at some point, and hopefully you're not like my fiance throwing up. But what I really want to talk to you guys about is New Year's and New Year's resolutions. So most likely you're going to set up some type of a goal, whether it's a weight loss goal, maybe it's a muscle gaining goal, whatever. What I advise you guys to do, especially for those of you who have never really stuck to a plan, or you know every year you make a plan and you're like the typical athlete by February or by Valentine's Day, you guys have kind of given up by then. What I'm hoping this talk will do is it'll get you more set so you guys can be successful. Now, it's going to be tough, don't get me wrong, especially because most people, when they think, oh yeah, in the year of 2019, I can set myself up for this. Well, you're not thinking in terms of a year. When you set the goal, initially you might be like, yeah, by 2020, I want to lose 30 pounds. But in your mind, you're like, yeah, but really I want to lose it by February. I want to lose it tomorrow. And that isn't going to set you up for lasting results, because the last thing you want to do is, let's say you do lose 20 pounds in a month, which would be terrible. But if you do lose 20 pounds in a month, you might gain back 30 pounds, and then next year you're setting a similar goal. So let's try to set a goal and go about it the right way. So I'm going to use losing 30 pounds in the year of 2019 as your goal. So 30 pounds. So first thing I want to say to you is 30 pounds isn't a whole lot. It is definitely doable. And you don't have to necessarily starve yourself. So the first thing I want you guys to think about is, what is 30 pounds? If you break it up throughout the year, okay, so 30 pounds in a year, we're talking less than 3 pounds a month. Okay, so if you can average 3 pounds a month for the first few months, you're doing a great job. Plus, that's going to allow you a little bit of leeway. You guys can kind of screw off a little bit, especially in the beginning, because it's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, Josh said I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that you guys need to live a little, especially in the beginning, because so many things are going to be changing. You're going to want to jump in with both feet, which I applaud you for, but it's not necessary. So again, imagine losing just 3 pounds a month. That's less than a pound a week. So, if let's say January 1st, which I believe is a Tuesday, January 2nd, that Wednesday, you shouldn't be weighing yourself expecting to lose weight. If you guys weigh yourself once a week, maybe twice a week, just to kind of track where you're at, that won't be so bad. But again, when you're setting up yourself to lose those 30 pounds, hey, check February 1st and really care what it means February 1st. If you've lost your 3 pounds by then, great. You guys did your job accordingly. So I want to take a step back. the best way I can tell you will help you lose this weight is to set the weight loss goal as an ultimate goal, sure, but not the forefront thing in your mind. So what I mean by that is, if all you care about is losing that 30 pounds, you're missing the point, okay? Something in your life made it so that you gained those 30 pounds. Certain stressors, maybe you just, lacked self-control, which a lot of people say, oh, I have no self-control, but most likely it's something completely different than that. So again, don't put it right in the front. What I do want you guys to do is set little milestones that are going to help you get to your goal. So here's the first milestone I want you to set up. January 1st. Make exercise. I'm not saying the gym. I'm not saying anything too crazy. Make exercise a priority. And by priority, I mean put it on your calendar, set yourself up with a schedule that has it set up where 3 times a week you're going to purposefully do something physical. Now, in January, if you live near where we do, we live in the upper Midwest, it's cold. There's snow on the ground. You might not want to go outside. So you might need a gym membership. Maybe you have a treadmill at home, or there's one in your apartment complex, whatever. Make it a priority. So that's the first step. So the first 2 weeks of January, that's what I want you to concern yourself with. Just consistently, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever, 3 times a week, you're going to spend half an hour. That's it, just walking, okay? It's boring. I advise you get maybe a book that you can read, or get Audible where they'll read you a book. Maybe you find some crazy podcaster like me to listen to when you're on the treadmill or the stairs or whatever you end up going with, but just something. It'll distract you, and then you're moving. And that's the first 2 weeks. That's it. I don't need you concerning yourself with the foods you're eating. I don't need you doing really anything like that. You're already adding something to your life. That should be enough. But Josh, I want to lose my 30 pounds as fast as possible. Losing it as fast as possible isn't necessarily the answer. And then one last thing. For the first 2 weeks, all I want you to do food-wise is just write down what you're eating. I don't care if you're eating pizza, ice cream, brownies. I don't care if you're eating brownies in your ice cream on top of your pizza. All I want you to do is just get in the habit of writing it down. You don't necessarily have to write it down for the rest of your life. That's not what I'm trying to set you up to do. But at the end of the 2 weeks, your next milestone is to look at what you are eating and figure out, okay, what's one thing I can change? Maybe it's you drink alcohol 4 days a week. Maybe you're only drinking it 3 times a week. Something as simple as that can make a big lasting change. And if each, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 4 weeks, you set up something different that you're going to implement in your life, then you're not trying to do everything all at once. And that's what most people do, and why most people fail. Because they say, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to eat less, train 15 times a week, I'm not going to sleep, I'm going to just keep going, and then all of a sudden you fizzle out. So again, the slow, steady turtle usually wins the race, and that's what we're dealing with right now. So you have your 2 weeks done, you have been coming to the gym 3 times a week, you're just doing cardio, that's totally fine. Maybe you've snuck in a 4th time, that'd be great, that's extra credit. I don't expect you to try to murder yourself too badly on those treadmills, not really, because if you've gone from not really doing anything at all, which is why you're setting yourself up to lose 30 pounds, if you go from not doing anything at all to going to the gym, that should be enough for you to lose that 1 pound that first week and another pound the second week. So we're already set. Now, weeks 3, 4, maybe 5, and 6, you're looking at what you can change nutritionally, and then physically, now it's time. Okay, so you're already spending 30 minutes on the treadmill. Great. Let's put that at the end of your workout. Spend 15, maybe 20 minutes doing some type of resistance training. Maybe you join your gym's group fitness classes. Maybe you join group training like I do. Do something where it involves weights. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Just picking up a 5-pound weight, and because your program says do 6 bicep curls, just doing 6 bicep curls with a 5-pound weight, if it's not hard, it's not going to change you at all. So before you just say, oh, I can do anything and I'll lose weight and I'll gain muscle, that might work for the first 2 weeks, but that's not a good habit or practice to get into. So what I advise that you do is, again, whether you're joining a class, which there are some pluses and minuses, and there are other videos that I've done, other podcasting that I've done. Cole and I have talked about it a few times. There are definitely some drawbacks to taking classes that have the instructor posted at the front of the room and is working out with you while you're working out. They're not really going to be watching you. They're not checking your form. They don't really care. They're there for a paycheck. They want you to be motivated, and that's really all they can do. They can't fix you. So just like adding in that 30 minutes of cardio, doing those classes initially for a couple of weeks, they will change your life, which is why Body Pump is so popular, is because a lot of people do it, and for 4 weeks it is a change because they're doing exercises they've never done. They're doing squats, lunges. It basically ends up being body weight exercises at the end because the weights that they're using aren't very significant. They get used to those weights, and it actually has a negative effect on them because they're not going heavy enough or they're not challenging themselves enough. But anyway, the first 4 to 6 weeks, you're actually going to see results. So let's take advantage of that. Let's see what a lunge is. Let's see what a squat is. They're not going to be perfect, okay? Don't go too heavy. And the first few weeks of those classes, you don't really have to try very hard, and you'll continue to lose weight. So now we're 6 weeks in. You've lost 6 pounds. We haven't really even touched your diet. You might have changed one thing, whether it's, again, maybe you limit your alcohol. Maybe you only have sweets 2 times a week instead of every week, or you've changed one little thing. Okay, now we're 6 weeks in. We're down 6 pounds, possibly more depending upon how fast your body's losing it. We're already ahead of the game. So now it's time to almost take a step back when it comes to working out. And what I mean by that is now it's time to learn. Okay, you're 6 weeks in, you've lost 6 pounds. And remember, we're not trying to lose a pound a week for the whole year because that'd be 52 pounds. We're only trying to lose 30. So you've lost 6 pounds. You're feeling really good. Now let's take a week, maybe even 2, and go out on our own and figure out, okay, I've done lunges, I've done squats, I've done this, I've done that. Let's do it on our own and see if I can challenge myself. Now, at getcomplete.net, we have workout programs that you can do on your own. There are some basic ones, some intermediate ones. You can comment on our podcast, on my videos. You can email us, whatever you got to do if you have questions. But it's up to you to now, okay, how do I take my training to the next level? This might mean you add in a 4th day. So this is 6 weeks into the program. This is probably right around Valentine's Day that you might finally be adding in a 4th workout. And all this workout is meant to do is for you to purposefully use weights that you don't normally use. Take some of the exercises maybe you've learned in your group training classes, your alloy classes, but your body pump classes, things like that, and step it up just a little bit. That way we know you're getting stronger. Maybe you take the time to do the push-ups the right way and not to the rhythm. Maybe you're doing squat jumps or whatever, okay? Maybe on your treadmill, your 30 minutes, now you're doing it at an incline, a little faster, anything, okay? That'll get you set for another 4 to 6 weeks. Now let's say it's 3 months in. We're 3 months in. We've lost about, 12 pounds, okay? Let's just say it's 12 pounds. Let's say it's just 10, okay? 3 months, 10 pounds, that's great, okay? That's still way ahead of the game. Now you're stronger, you're a little leaner. Now, 3 months in, it's time to talk about nutrition, okay? 3 months. Why? Because you should already be a little more tired. You should be sleeping more. You should be getting more than 7 hours of sleep every night. Hopefully by now you're drinking a little bit more water. You're taking in a little less caffeine. You're going to the gym 4 times a week, which is already a lot, especially now that you're 3 months in. The gym's a lot quieter. You're obviously one of the more motivated people. And again, you're down 10 pounds. What you're doing is working great. And you didn't have to change your life. You've still, had birthday cake, and you've gone to weddings, and you've, Christmases and holidays and all this stuff. And you can still do that. But now, just like we did for training, I want you to think of it in a really slow and steady type way with nutrition. So now, here's what I would advise. First thing you should do, and you can already do this early, but again, I don't want to stress you guys out by putting too much on your plate. Again, you might only start this 3 months into this whole year. I want you guys to always know what you're going to have for breakfast and lunch. So when you're away from home, if you plan your lunch and you already have it made and you're not just buying it when you're on the go, and you already have maybe a snack, whether you eat that snack in the early morning, maybe you eat that in the afternoon, or both. You can eat 6 times a day if you want, as long as you're not eating just potato chips or something. But anyway, you're going to plan, and this is 5 days a week if you work 5 days a week, you're going to plan those 5 breakfasts and lunches. That's, again, going to jumpstart your weight loss. That could last you for 3-4 months before we have to tweak anything involving supper or anything like that, especially if you're getting your sleep, you're not drinking every night. But again, so 5 days a week you're having lunch. Now, I'm not saying you can't plan your suppers. I mean, if you plan your suppers, that's extra credit. You're going to be less likely to eat junk food. You're going to be less hungry. You're going to, again, continue to lose more weight. Now, on the weekends, you can play a little bit if you want. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm not saying, again, put the brownie ice cream on your pizza. But maybe even in the weekends, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to plan my breakfasts, my mid-afternoon snack, my lunch, my, whatever. And then dinner, what, if we go to a movie, great. If we go out to dinner, if we have whatever with the kids, maybe there is pizza, great, cool, okay. That's totally doable. You at that point have earned it. But again, if all of a sudden you're 6 months in and you aren't halfway to your 30-pound loss, you might be going a little bit overzealous, okay? So by June, if you haven't lost your 15 pounds, then we really have to look inward and say, okay, am I really doing what Josh said? So I'm still working out 4 days a week. It's June. I haven't really been planning my lunches and breakfast, or I always plan my lunch, but it's pizza. Oh, come on. You know that pizza shouldn't be what you're having for lunch every day, right? So here's something that I would recommend for breakfast. Maybe a few eggs, oatmeal if you like it, maybe some Greek yogurt and a granola maybe. Now, when it comes to granola, I want you to look at the back of the label, the nutrition label, and make sure there isn't more than 10 grams of sugar in it per serving, because most likely you'll have more than one serving. And if there's 15 grams of sugar, or even if there's 10, that's a lot of sugar that you're getting, okay? So get a lower sugar granola, put it in your Greek yogurt, and maybe you throw some fruit in there and you have a parfait. Then let's say you have a mid-morning snack. Maybe it's 2 hard-boiled eggs and, I don't know, some almonds. Maybe you have some pre-cut carrots or celery or broccoli with that. I prefer peppers, especially during this season because it's cold and flu season, and there's a lot of vitamin C in it. There's some zinc in it. It's just good for you. Then for your lunch, if you're the sandwich type person, cool, make a sandwich, but don't skimp on the protein, okay? Put a decent amount of turkey or chicken or whatever. It's not the best meat for you, but again, it's better than you having a Hot Pocket or ramen noodles or something like that. For bread, I mean, if you really got to have your split top wheat or white bread, fine, but there are definitely better breads out there. I'm not a fan of the 12-grain breads, but you can have those. The 100% whole wheats, you can have those. You don't need to go crazy and go Ezekiel bread or anything like that unless you like those. If you do, more power to you. Go for it. But again, I'm not requiring that you do that. And then for your mid-afternoon snack, most likely if you work, let's say an 8 to 4 or an 8 to 5 type job, you're going to go to the gym after work. So you need to be thinking, what do I need for my workout? Maybe it's another fruit. Maybe you do the Greek yogurt granola thing again. I'm not a huge protein bar type person just because most of them are candy bars with a little bit of protein in it. But if you find one that's decent, I mean, I guess you could go for it. I really haven't found any that I'm in love with. But again, you're going to need some carbs. You're going to need a little bit of protein. Personally, I would say, again, Greek yogurt and fruit and the parfait style. Then you hit your gym, and then, again, you come home and there's dinner. But again, if after 6 months, if you haven't lost 15 pounds, again, we're taking such a conservative approach to this so that you can, and by the way, the reason we're taking such a conservative approach is because I want you to lose as much body fat as possible and gain as much muscle as possible. You're not going to retain your muscle if you lose weight really, really quickly, okay? You might not even retain all of your muscle just by losing weight. okay? So by doing it slower, we have a better chance to retain the most muscle possible. Now, last 6 months of the year, it's summertime, right? So we're talking June through December. It's summertime. You've lost hopefully at least 15 pounds if your goal is 30. But let's say you've lost 20 pounds. You have a little bit easier of a summer ahead of you. You're going to look better in a bikini, that's for sure. But if you want to go out and maybe there's a beach party or you're going boating or whatever, and you have maybe an all-out splurge weekend once or twice in the summer, I mean, you can certainly do that because you've put in extra time. Maybe you did that extra workout. You did the extra resistance training on your own. You've been making your lunches. You've been dealing with dinner. You've been doing all of those things. And hey, you set yourself up where it's not you trying to just ram your head against the wall for the whole year. You're ahead of the game. So again, that sets your summer up where you can enjoy your summer a little bit more. But by the end of August, we want to make sure that we're still down at least that 20 pounds, right? So throughout the summer, don't quit on the gym or your exercise or anything like that. Still put that in as part of your life. But just make sure that you really have a hold of your food outside of those days that you're going to go a little bit nuts. And again, in the summer, it's not a bad thing if you want to go on a little bit extra of a walk or maybe get in an extra resistance training workout, a fifth workout. But again, you don't need to do 5 workouts every day that, again, you're going to bang your head against the wall. Then when it comes time for the kids to go back to school, September, you have 3 more months to lose the last 8 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever. And again, you had a great summer. You had a great year because you haven't been stressing about too much food stuff. You've been able to eat the foods that you want. You're not depriving yourself. And again, the last 8 pounds shouldn't be very hard because as soon as you get back onto your plan, you're going to be fine. Thanksgiving might throw a monkey wrench at you, but again, it's like the summer. If you are ahead of the game, that makes Thanksgiving so much better. And by ahead of the game, I mean you're down body fat, not that you just starve yourself 2 days before Thanksgiving so that you can feast. That's not what I'm getting at. The whole point is not to feel like food rules us. Now, for a lot of you, that's going to be tough, right? Because food is this thing that nourishes you, but for a lot of people, it isn't. You eat food to survive. You almost feel like you need to eat it just to fill those voids, right? The stereotypical, I need to fill my voids, and that's why I'm fat. So again, that's why the first almost 6 weeks of this whole plan is so that you guys don't even have to think about food. So let's re it up real quick. First 2 weeks, all I want you to do, get into the gym 3 times a week and start tracking your food. The next few weeks, you're going to add in a class and try to change one thing about what you're eating. After that, you're going to get a little bit more extensive. You're going to add in that extra workout for yourself. You're going to start planning out your lunches, your breakfasts, and your snacks. And then from there, you just keep rolling with it, okay? You don't need to keep adding in exercise. You don't need to keep taking away food. I've done a lot of body scans on athletes, and I'm going to use women as my example. Most of the women, actually I don't even think any of the women, were required to have less than 1,600 calories to lose weight. So what I'm getting at is if you're eating less than 1,600 calories a day, you're not eating enough, even if you're a sedentary type person, okay? Especially if you're following my plans of you need to go to the gym 3 times a week or at least exercise 3 times a week. You need at least 1,600 calories. The only person that came close to needing exactly 1,600 calories is actually my fiance. She's 118 pounds. If you weigh more than 118 pounds, you need more than 1,600 calories. And again, let's say you want to be 130 pounds. You don't necessarily need to eat like a 130 pound person yet. Let's say you're 160. Again, keeping with the 30 pound weight loss thing. First, we need you to behave, train, and eat like a 155 pound person, and then see how you feel. And then you have to eat and behave like a 150 pound person, and so on until you get to your weight. Don't just assume that, hey, if I eat like a 120-pound person, I'm going to end up being one. That's not true. You're going to end up being a 150-pound person that's really upset with themselves because they've only lost 10 pounds and they can't believe how hungry they are. Okay? So, with that New Year's resolution, all I want you guys to focus on is what's one thing I can change at a time that's going to help me inevitably get to my goal. Yes, I know your goal is to lose that 30 pounds, but again, one thing at a time.
The Coaches Collaboration Podcast. What do you mean you haven't subscribed yet? What the hell are you waiting for?
Come on, y'all.
The Coaches Collaboration Podcast is brought to you by The Complete Athlete, providing world-class continuing education for fitness trainers, coaches, and gyms. Online at getcomplete.net.